stores that I intend to visit. So I'll hand them out there. And other than that, I figured I would have them at any event that is scheduled. I'm hoping to get a book signing at Barnes and Noble in February. That I intend. Oops. So
sorry, that was my fault.
Okay. That's okay. So I'll take them there, and we'll just see. But I have them.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So Denise, did you put your name and your email address? What else did you put on there?
Well, I used the whole background with an illustration, and then I put my logo on the top right, and then the bottom right, I put my QR code, and I did put my email, my web address, in case anybody didn't.
Can we see it one more time?
Sure.
I'll put my glasses on this time. Oh, how sweet. Oh, okay. Oh, I see how you put everything in there. Oh, okay.
So
that's cute. And so tell me about the size of it.
I think it's 2.5 by 3.
Okay.
It's your standard business card size. And I thought the picture would draw people in. That's why I wasn't too concerned about whether my logo was real big. And the QR code, even though it's small and in the corner, it does work well. I mean, there's no problem with it. And again, the email address is there. It's very small, but they can find me. And I more than anything, I wanted the illustration to pull people in and say, oh, well, what's that?
Right.
It is. It's sweet. It is sweet.
Magnet, So hopefully it works. I only ordered 50 of those because they're a little more expensive since they're magnetic.
So are you guys, have you signed up for a lot of the local events and things coming up in this holiday season? How are you doing with that?
I have not. I didn't feel comfortable signing up for anything until I had a mock-up, and I was going to touch base with Praise, direct message her tomorrow and see how things were going, because she, there was the indication that I would have my first mock-up this week. So I just didn't feel comfortable quite yet. I wanted to make sure I don't know. It just makes me feel better to know I've at least seen something.
Right.
But I think Lee does, right? Don't you?
I have. I signed up for something in November, and then one of my people that were helping me with my launch team, who is a teacher, came back with me earlier this week and asked me if I wanted to do. They were going to be doing a fundraiser for the school, so they were going to have a big bazaar with different booths and stuff, and asked me if they would like to set me up a bat cave. So I'm going to have a bat cave, and so we've been working our small group with Denise and Mary George, and we've got some other people with Lori that we've been going over and looking at how we're working on Canva. And you've got some April, you've got some wonderful tips and good videos, and it's always helpful. I did find it. I didn't know how to save it. So for some reason, it just eluded me how to save it. So we were working on that the other day. So I could have handouts, and so we've done a word search, and we're working on doing a little tweaks on a maze. My grandson loves mazes, so and it's for elementary school, and so we are working on like little lights and to fix it up. So we'll be reading the book and if that's going to be October the 29th that we're going to be doing that. So that's gonna be in my mind, it's going to be fun. So
nice.
And of course, I'm going to dress up, of course, as a bat, a friendly bat, though.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm just shout out to John, who's joining us on YouTube. So I'm live on YouTube. We're live here on Zoom. If you are out there and you are tuning in live with us and you want to come and join us on Zoom here together, you can go ahead and click that link. I've also posted it in the Learn to Self-Publish group so that we can have more of two-way conversations and support one another. But I'd also love to talk, to have you talk about, or what kind of topics do you want, or questions do you have today? I'll start by just talking about some things that we'll touch on. One is I've got, I just want to do an update on events and author meetings that are coming up. So here I'm just adding in the comments. If you have a specific topic you want to add to the list, let's throw it there in the parking lot here in the chat, or you can post your question on YouTube and we'll also go through that. Rachel Hilz is here with us today. She and I have been, prior to this meeting, we're together kind of going through some of the things that she's launching. Shout out to Rachel. She is on track to release 5 books this year. For a busy mom who is just, has so much on her plate. I'm just amazed, always amazed at the beautiful stuff that Rachel is pulling together. So I would love to kind of maybe just highlight for Rachel some of the stuff that you've been working on, and maybe it would be cool to just give some advice, Rachel, for those who want to be able to have more than one book in a year. Like, what are some of the secrets that you've incorporated to being able to do this? And it's not sleeping, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's not sleeping, if I'm honest. But April is my secret weapon. For one thing, she has my back, and I know she has my back. So if things get too much, I will send April a message and say, can I please get some extra help on this?
Mm-hmm.
So April helps me out a lot. Building a good team, I think, is number one. You need to try out different people, and you need to be able to be willing to let people go if they're not a great fit. And you need to find the people that fit with you really well. I have an editor that I adore. And I know that she's going to give me, the stuff that I can work with in a way that keeps the integrity of my book, doesn't, give me back something that wasn't what I wrote. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over my words. I've had a headache for quite a long time. It won't go away. I work with Bobby. And here's the other thing, build relationships, because when I first started working with Bobby, I don't think we were a great fit right out the door, right out the gate. We worked to develop that relationship where she knows what I like and I know what she expects from me, and we communicated, and I told her, I would like to be the one to fix the issues. Because I wanted to write. I didn't want somebody to write it for me. So you need to be willing to communicate. You need to be willing to have some slightly uncomfortable conversations sometimes.
Yeah, and so when you mentioned Bobby, I just put in the chat here, we're talking about Bobby Hinman, who is my go-to children's book editor. And I'll post the contact info for Bobby, but it is fairybook_lady@gmail. And she is amazing. I love it. And yeah, I like the tip, Rachel, where, I mean, you're not always going to be a perfect fit out of the gate, but your voice, you have to communicate what's working for you and what's not. How long have you been working with Bobby now as your children's book editor?
I have been working with Bobby for 3 years, and she better never retire on me, because I just absolutely love her, and I need her. Yeah. So yes, Bobby is incredible, just incredible, and extremely reasonable priced too. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, build your team. I have illustrators now that I go to immediately before I even bother looking elsewhere. I mean, yes, it might be nice to incorporate a different style, but as April said, I've got children, and it takes time to find a new editor and or illustrator rather, and it takes time to build a new relationship. And I've got 3 illustrators now that I work with that I have good relationships with, so it's just easier to stay with them than it is to look outside of that. But yeah, not to say I won't look outside of that later on, but
And then having a graphic design team that you can trust and that's going to be able to format those books for you, so that if you upload, you're not going to get error after error after error. I know that takes weeks. But Rachel, you have a lot of projects going on in parallel typically. What's your process like? And maybe there's not a process. Maybe it's just getting it all out there, and when things are in your head, getting it out and just getting it into this, kind of railroad tracks we put together with our book publishing.
Well, one thing I can say is that when I first started, I was overwhelmed with the processes, and now I sort of know where I am most of the time. I do get lost sometimes when you have multiple projects going, and you're where was I with that particular project, because you've got 3 or 4 happening at the same time. They're all in different stages of development. But for the most part, you know what needs to be done after you've done a few. And you can usually pick up and find where you left off relatively easily. I take a lot of notes. That's one thing I do, is I take a lot of notes. I have checklists everywhere. So I will write down, instead of writing all the steps, because if you write all the steps from the beginning, it's overwhelming. I'll write down like the next 5 to 10 steps for that particular book. And I'll work through those next 5 to 10 steps. And then okay, what next? And then every now and then I will have a meeting with April where I say, am I missing something? Because I feel like I might be missing something. Right. And we go over and we look and we just make sure that we've got all our ducks in a row.
Yeah. How helpful has it been incorporating Amazon ads into growing your sales for your books?
For me, it's been essential because I don't only have children, I have children with special needs. So I'm not able to go, to these conferences. I'm not able to, I am not able to collaborate the same way as some other people are. So Amazon ads have been completely essential for me, and it's where I put majority of my effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know that the first year that you, the first Christmas book that you released was a huge success with regard to sales, and it kind of just catapulted the whole idea of we need to keep going with these Christmas books. Can you tell us about Santa's Lost Reindeer, and what are some of the things you think contributed to the sales, and maybe just share a little bit about that book launch and the results with regard to your first Christmas?
I think what contributed to Santa's Lost Reindeer more than anything else was I had a strong cover. I got a lady called Melinda. Oh, I can't remember.
Melinda Martin. Yeah, Melinda Martin did the design of the cover design. She is amazing as well.
And she nailed it. She nailed that cover. And I think that's what did it for me, as I've just got an amazing cover. It looks great on a thumbnail. It has a little bit of humor. I think the kids love it, and I think the adults like it. So I think I just, some of it is I lucked out. And then it's, it's a Santa book, everybody loves Santa. So I think that's part of it. And then I did put an awful lot of money into advertising. So I'm not actually sure how much money I put into advertising, but it was thousands of dollars, and it did make a return though. So
what was the return like that first year with Santa's Lost Reindeer?
So I think Canadian because I am Canadian, but I made about 50,000 Canadian.
Yeah,
on
that,
Santa's Lost
and
Reindeer.
the funny thing about that is we re-released, the Puppy Pete, and it was kind of, a little bit of a fizzle, right?
Yeah.
And then you didn't give up, and that got to the next level.
Oh, I think that's one of the main things is not to give up. And your first book is not going to be your best book. I mean, that's just all there is to it. It's not going to be your best book. As April mentioned, I did Puppy Pete first. I do plan to eventually one day, if I ever have time to do it, go back and kind of redo Puppy Pete now that I know what I know. Because you don't know what you don't know when you're starting out.
Right. So tell us about the series that you have, the various different series that you're working on, and what's coming up for the release this year.
Okay, well, we did Santa's Lost Reindeer. Then we did Santa's Lost Sleigh, and going back to how important the cover is, I messed up on the cover. I knew that Santa's Lost Reindeer was a really good cover and a really strong cover, so I tried to model my second book after the first book cover-wise, and I did it too closely. It was too close. So what happened was people thought I have that book already, and they didn't realize it was the second book because it was just too close, too similar. So I'm doing a cover redesign on Santa's Lost Sleigh this year, where the cover is going to be completely different, but still have the same elements, some of the same elements, because I want it to be very clear that it is part of a collection, but it needs to be like different colored. If you're doing a series, make sure people know it's a different book. Like that's my advice to you, because it really affected the sales. But yes, we have Santa's Lost Sleigh is coming out with a cover redesign. Santa's Lost Elves is going to be the new book in the series. And again, a very different cover design. I've used the same lettering to try to pull them together, but all the colors are different and what's going on the front cover is quite different. I've got 3 books for the Wee Bit Sticky series. That was inspired by my daughter because she can spread a sticky item like you would not believe. It is a talent. So she was having a lollipop and she was just covered in sticky like you would not believe it. And the lollipop fiasco was born. And then after that came the cotton candy fiasco and then the candy cane fiasco. So I hope to do next year, I hope to do a Halloween book because, it's candy and sticky and I figure it'll fit in nicely.
I love that.
And hit another holiday. So, yeah, so that's one of my pieces of advice too, is if you can hit a holiday, that's helpful.
Right. Now, I remember with the candy cane fiasco and these other series, it didn't take off with sales right out of the gate. It's been taking time, but I know earlier you shared with me that that's now one of your best sellers. It's even overtaking your Santa's Lost Reindeer now.
At the moment, the candy cane fiasco is taking over Santa's Lost Reindeer, yes. And I'm starting to see trickle down into the other books in the series because the candy cane fiasco is selling.
Nice. So now you're going to have, so between the candy cane fiasco plus so we had Santa's Lost Reindeer, Santa's Lost Elves, and we're also releasing Santa's Lost Reindeer, Santa's Lost Sleigh, and now we're also just getting ready to publish Santa's Lost Elves.
Yes.
So this is, I think that synergy is going to be incredible. I can't wait to track what happens with the ads and everything and how well this brand, helps to pull all of that together because you're building quite a brand. Anything you wanted to share on the Santa's Lost Elves? Anything specific?
I can't think of anything. Do you have, if anybody has any questions or anything, I'm more than happy to answer.
Yeah, would love, yeah, we can open it up for questions from others. I definitely think that, what is the total number of books you have, Rachel, at this point?
I think I think the Bigfoot chase is number 10.
Yeah. So building a brand, an author brand that is, you know, connecting with your audience and continuing to move forward with this, having a dream team that will help you to continue to move things forward. Anybody have any questions for Rachel? Feel free to take yourself off mute, and then we can, I know, Rachel, you're not going to stay for the whole thing, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to hear your story. Number one important thing is, it's not always success right out of the gate, and not giving up. Because giving up, if Rachel had just said, you know what, my life is too busy, I tried this, it didn't work, I'm just not cut out for this, then look at that $50,000 profit that came that following, you know, with the first Christmas release, would have not been possible. And now all of this branding that she's doing and building up her author brand is just an amazing opportunity. And people are discovering these books. They're discovering Rachel, the author, and maybe they're going to find Santa's Lost Elves, and they're going to love it. And they're going to say, what else does this author have? So they're going to see all these other, you know, 9 other books that they can purchase or gift for the Christmas season as well. So, you know, branding, multiple books, keep it going, keep growing. Other tips, Rachel, that you would say for new authors as we're waiting on some questions?
Well, I think you're right in that it's extremely important to keep going, because every single book you go put out there, every single book that's out there circulating is an opportunity for somebody to find you. And if you've only got one out there, well, there's an awful lot of books on Amazon to have one book out there and hope people find you with one book.
Right.
I'm going to be up to 12 this year. I wish it was 100, you know, like you need to get that footprint as large as you can get it. Having said that, I think it's also really important not to go too fast and lower the quality of your writing. And you need to make sure that what you're putting out is good work.
Right.
Oh.
I have a question from YouTube. John asks, do you have an idea of how many copies that you sold? And how long did it take for you to write the 10 books? Over what period of time?
I do not know how many copies I sold of everything. I was looking up Santa's Lost Reindeer just the other day because I needed some specs on it. And I'm over 20,000 copies sold on Santa's Lost Reindeer right now.
Okay.
So that's the one I can answer you on. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. How much time did it take to get to that, 10 books written?
Okay, so I'm going on to 3 years now. But Santa's Lost Reindeer, I actually wrote when I was 16 and just kind of had the manuscript hanging around. I've wanted to write my entire life and went off and did a more sensible career. So, and then got to the point where I could finally, I wasn't doing my career anymore. I was staying at home with the kids. So then it was like, okay, well, I'm going to write. And, as fate would have it, I joined an author group on Facebook, and I kept seeing this lady come up named April. And so sooner or later, I was like, okay, I'm going to take this woman's course. So that's how it happened. It's been 3 years to get all these books out. But like I said, in fairness, some of these manuscripts have been kicking around as rough drafts for an awful long time. So they all haven't been written right now. I am a writer that doesn't write for a long time. I have to be in a certain mindset to be able to write. I think we all do it differently. I think some of us write a little bit all the time. and it takes us a year to write a book. And then there's people like me who I don't write, I cannot sit down, I cannot force it, I cannot make it happen. And then one day I'll get an idea and I will write a book in that one day.
Mhm.
And then of course, then the editing of course takes longer.
Yeah.
But I will
So when-
spew
so
it out in
When
one day.
inspiration strikes, that's kind of when you move forward with your writing, and then passing things over to Bobby as they come in,
Yeah.
so that we're kind of building up that, okay, we've got 3 books, and we do go through, you know, with, like you said, with the illustrators, once you've got that relationship, they know how to work with you. They've got your style down. It's
Yeah.
really easy to then turn that into a much more smooth process.
Yes. Oh, there's no doubt that by the time you get to your 10th book, it's way smoother than your first, second, or third. It's just way smoother because, like, right now I have relationships with my illustrator where they know how much updating I want. They know if they can leave me and not give me updates and then just go, hey, here's your final copy to review. They know how I like to work.
Right.
So, and I know how they like to work. I know what to expect. Like when I work with Lewis doesn't want to be bothered, and he doesn't want to be given a whole map out of what I want. He wants me to give him the manuscript and tell him how many pages he has to work with. And then he does it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want me to have any input until he shows me what he's come up with. And that's fine with me.
Yeah, and we're speaking of Luis Perez, for those that don't know. He has worked on the Wee Bit Sticky series and continues to be just an amazing illustrator for not just Rachel, but a number of other authors that I've worked with. He's on my pre-vetted list of illustrators, along with a number of others, and that I share with, you know, folks that come work through me through coaching or with my 12-week course, which, by the way, I'll put a plug in, is coming soon for early bird enrollment. So I do have a question here from Homespun Stories. How much time or money did it take with advertising before you started to see that significant profit?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a long-winded answer here. I don't know if this is what you want. It's what you're going to get. So when you start with advertising, you have to be willing to sink. I think my number, now it probably is different for everybody, what you're comfortable with. I am willing to lose $1,000 on every single book when I first put it out to see how it's going to work with advertising. And not every book will advertise well.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a book out, I put $1,000 into that book. I give it a chance because it takes a while to index and all. It is not immediate.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes about a month, honestly, before you start seeing whether those ads are going to profit you or not. And you have to be willing to sweat it for a little bit and see if that money starts coming back to you or not before you pull it. Because if you pull it too soon, you've wasted the money on your indexing. You know, you need to allow it to index. So that's my personal number. I give a book $1,000 to see if it's going to perform. I have currently, I think, about 6 books that perform fairly well on ads, and the rest I don't bother advertising anymore. And I've actually gone back and put another one up. So Dream Fairies is an example of one of my books that just doesn't perform well on Amazon ads. I don't know why. It doesn't perform well on Amazon ads. I tried it a year ago. It didn't perform very well. I've just given it another shot this year and it's still not picking up. So I'm probably not going to advertise that one again. I'm just going to hope that it gets some sales as I make a name for myself.
Yeah. You know, this is really interesting question too, because I have some authors who will say, you know, I want to budget $100 a month I am willing, and they get really nervous when if they see, like, I've spent $100 and I've not made that back plus, and they're ready to give up within, a week or two. There's no patience, like we said, about giving up on your stories and on, continuing your writing. I think with ads, I completely agree with you, Rachel, that if you're not spending the time to give it a chance, and you could be giving up too early. And like we just said about Rachel's, one of her most successful books, and that successful story was $50,000 worth of profit, which I can tell you would never have happened without Amazon ads.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. But I think that it takes a while to index, and I am guilty myself. I'm lucky that I have an extremely supportive husband, and he will say, it's indexing, don't do anything, because I start going in and messing with it because it's not doing anything. It's not making money yet. And I start getting nervous about putting the money out when I'm not seeing it come in. So I'm more likely to turn those ads off if I didn't have my husband going, it's still indexing, leave it alone. So that's I have him to thank for that a lot, because he sort of understands the idea of indexing.
Mm-hmm.
So he will tell me, get your hands out of there, leave it alone longer.
So Denise asks, she says, I don't have a series. Is that a downside? What do you think about? Do you think your series has helped you continue to be discovered with other books? So as I said, I write when inspiration hits. So I have quite a few freestanding books, but I can tell you they don't sell anywhere near as well as my series do. And I think the reason is because, like I said, somebody finds Santa's Lost Elves or Santa's Lost Sleigh or Santa's Lost Reindeer, and they go to look and they go, oh, there's two other books in this series. And my kid liked Santa's Lost Reindeer, so he'll probably like Santa's Lost Sleigh. Or the sticky books I'm finding are starting to pick up quite well. And I really think it's because they're all in the same series, and people are like, oh, this is a cute little story plot where the kid gets sticky and calamity ensues, and I love your sense of humor, Rachel. I think that really resonates with people. We have a question here also. Are you exclusive with Amazon?
I do I am exclusive with what is it called? I can't think of the name of it now.
Kindle Unlimited. So KDP.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I am in KDP Select. So I do that, and then I have my hardcover through Ingram that links to Amazon. If I could, I would do an offset print. There's a couple of things that make that hard for me. Number one, I do not have a place to store books. Number two, I live in Canada, and shipping costs me more than the value of the book at full price just to ship across the border into the States. So that does not work out very well. And I just don't feel like I have the life to allow for the extra work that an offset print does. So I have done all this through print on demand.
Right. Would you also say the same, Rachel, when it comes to going wide with your ebooks or something like that? Then it would involve draft to digital and pushing out to multiple different places. Would that overly complicate things? And has that led to you just saying, I'm going to keep it simple? About
99.9% of my decisions are based on keeping my life simple and streamlined. Like I said before, I don't have one very special needs child. I have two. So it is not, I don't have extra moments in my day. So I had to make this fit my life. Having said that, one of the things that I want to revisit, or an idea that I've had a few times that I'd like to revisit, is to see what Jay Molesky offers, because apparently Jay Molesky does printing and warehousing and fulfillment and all.
Yeah,
and
that's
I could maybe get a nicer quality book.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be, and we've talked about this, I know, but iapcbooks.com is Jay Maletsky's company, and he does print very high quality print books in China. He's kind of the middleman that will help you. He negotiates amazing prices. And if you can get the books of yours that are selling really well, if you can print through him, get your prices down to like $2 or less per book, and all of a sudden, and he's doing the warehousing and fulfillment for you, that can really simplify things. And I think, you know, I would say that's probably 3 times the profit doing that than sticking with purely KDP.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to get a nicer product.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And talk about brand building, right? When you have those beautifully printed copies, which are much better than you can get with KDP, I think it really makes a difference with your brand. But you've got to start somewhere, and you've got to start figuring out what things are going to sell. Because if you would have taken Dream Fairies and printed 2,500 books, they'd be sitting for a long time. And it was, but you've seen through testing through print on demand, the power of which ones are selling, which ones are not. And you've been doing this a few years, so you know how much you've sold last year and how much you're expected to sell moving forward. So I think that can be a huge benefit. But yes, being open to the print, offset print, and warehousing and doing things that way, that can really simplify. It can be the best of both worlds for that as well.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I do not regret doing print on demand for 3 years. I'm still doing print on demand. There are some things that will drive you crazy about print on demand. Like getting your book with upside down pages occasionally and that kind of thing. It just happens.
Right. Yeah. So one of our folks on YouTube has said she's like 90-something% through the book, but she's just kind of stuck on finishing it. And she's wondering if you have any tips about, you know, how you get through that kind of a challenge.
Is she speaking about writing it?
Yeah, the writing of the book and getting, the writing of the book and kind of feeling like she's blocked from being able to finish.
Well, I think that everybody is very different in their writing style and the way that they do this. Honestly, if it were me, I would put it aside and take a week or 2 break. I wouldn't even look at it. And try to do something completely different, get your mind off of it, and then go back and reread it. And hopefully when you reread it, you're like, oh, this is what I need to do with this.
Right.
But personally, that's what I would do, because if I try to force it, it is not going to happen.
Right. Denise is saying, is Formax comparable to the printer that in the warehouse that you're talking about? So I can answer that for you, because I've had a number of my authors print with Formax. Not even close. The quality of what you'll get through IAPC books and other offset printers that are like China based and really high quality. I mean, you have to have really high quality printers, and we've kind of vetted a lot of these. There are some China based printing or overseas printing that is not high quality, but Jay prints with, you know, ones that are used by traditional publishers all the time. He works really hard has built a relationship, and you can check out some of the books that are printed with IAPC books on that website. So I do recommend what they do, and the quality of what they create is, wow, just phenomenal. Not to say you couldn't go direct to a China-based printer and get that same kind of quality, but what Jay provides and the guidance he offers and that whole, you know, kind of taking care of all of that stuff for you and giving you a place to store them and even fulfill and send your books to Amazon when things come in. That can take, you know, you do have to pay a little bit for that service, but that can take so much off your plate and give you the best of both worlds. Formax is a great choice for short quantities of books. So if you want to print 50 or 100 or 200, probably once you get to the 300 to 500 kind of mark, I would probably go with more of a, you know, a different choice, only because there are ways of really driving down the price much better with some of the larger offset printers versus Formax. But Formax is a great one. And I do have an interview with Kristen from Formax posted on my YouTube channel, and she talks about Formax and their printing options. So it's a great opportunity for people that don't want to have like huge volumes of print, but that want something that they can be proud of to take to events and things like that. So I think they're valid and they are on my list for a reason. But the quality, if you're looking at one from Formax, one from the IAPC, is just amazing. Like totally, the difference between a KDP book and Formax is huge too, right? It's much better quality than KDP or offset or Ingram Spark, but then there's at least that much of a distinction between some of the books that I'm seeing coming out of the IAPC. Yeah, good questions. Let me see what other stuff that I have here on. Anybody else have questions? Did I skip anything? Feel free to kind of take yourself off of mute if you have a question here and I've skipped over it. Oh, Rachel, where do you live in Canada? Mary wants to know.
I'm on Vancouver Island in BC.
Would you like to just kind of, what would you like me to share your books and to like go on Amazon and your list of books? I think it would be really cool for people to take a look at what you've been able to accomplish with your brand. And then we can, if you need to drop, Rachel, I don't want to, you know, keep you here really long. I think it's been really valuable what you're doing. Let me just find my, come on. Let me go to my Amazon page and let's find one of your newer books. While I do this, Rachel, I would love for you to tell the story of this upcoming book that we're working on now, that's also going to be released probably this month. The Trouble with Leggings. Tell us about the Trouble with Leggings and how that idea came to be. It is approaching one of my favorite books that you've put together, and I just love it so much.
Trouble with Leggings is my daughter loves to wear leggings. I think part of it is because she likes the tight sensory feel of them, but we always struggle with putting them on, and she wants to do things herself. So we do struggle with putting them on, and she's always stuck in these silly leggings and, you know, falling around while she's putting them on and all this, but does not want mom's help. So that's where the idea stemmed from. Of course, that's where that's all the reality that's in the book. The rest is sheer nonsense. So it's a cascading effect book where she steps on the cat who goes after the dog, who runs to the barnyard and bites the prize hog, and you know, it goes on and on and on like that. The horse breaks through the fence. They end up down at the store in the candy section. They raid the candy section. Dad goes, pays the huge bill. It has a section where it's a huge amount of animals. I can't even remember how many, 25 cows, a hog and horse, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is filled with animals and beautiful illustrations.
Yeah.
I
think Ramesh might have wanted to kill me at the time because I was like, no, actually, I think it's 35 cows, 10 hogs, and a horse or something, or 10,
right.
I can't even remember, but it's a huge amount of animals. And I'm like, no, Ramesh, I want the kids to be able to check my work and count. I want 35 cows on this spread, you know?
It was
so
hilarious.
I don't know how he pulled it off, but he did. He got all these animals on this spread and it looks like complete chaos and calamity. And I love it. And then they go to the store, Dad pays the huge bill. they round their animals up who are on a sugar buzz, they go home, and it ends with, tomorrow I think I'll wear sweatpants instead.
It's hilarious. Like her sense of humor is just so fun. And I think that's part of your brand, like with these fiasco books and Santa's Lost Reindeer. Like we have some hilarious scenes that start with your imagination, and then your illustrators have been able to really take that to the whole next level. And that's what I think people love. Here's the Santa's Lost Reindeer. Are you guys seeing my Amazon here with Rachel's books?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So here's Santa's Lost Reindeer, beautifully designed cover. The story is so much fun, and we won't go into all the details, but then with the fiascos, candy cane fiasco, like you said, that is starting to overtake Santa's Lost Reindeer for sales. I just love the silliness. And this is Luis Perez. Ramesh Ram is another illustrator. He's the founder of Prayen Animation, which I use a lot. I just love their work, and they are, I just can't say enough great things about Prayen. But yeah, we've got these. And then tell us, Rachel, because you never cease to amaze me. I'm Grateful for You just came out. Tell us what's unique about this book, because it's totally different from the others. So tell us what you did here.
Well, what's unique about that book is that I drew it. So
you illustrated your own book.
Yeah.
I was like blown away, multi-talented. So you did this. And by the way, this is not your first illustrated book, What's Wrong with This Book, which is Kyrie's favorite book. She's got it with her constantly. I just sent you the video review that she did of your book. She loves it. It's simple, little spider illustration. What would you recommend for people that want to kind of play around a little bit with drawing and creating some of their own books?
Okay, well, number one, don't think you can't draw, because I would have told you before these came out, and a matter of fact, I'd still tell you that all I can draw are stick figures. Like, I'm not a drawer. But my sister is an artist, and she gave me the best advice I've ever had. She told me when I said to her, I can't draw, she said, that's because you're trying to draw it in one go. She says, and you have to be willing to erase. She says, you have to be willing to draw a line 20 times until it looks right. So that's what I was told by my artist sister, is that drawing is not about drawing, it's about erasing. And that changed my focus. And then lo and behold, I can draw. So only because I've learned how to erase.
You're using Procreate, right?
I am using Procreate. And this is the other thing I would tell you, is that don't sell yourself short on what you're able to learn. A year ago or 2 years ago, I would have told you that I could never use Procreate. I could never, ever do it. I'm not technical. I could not do that. But I found that a lot of YouTube tutorials. So if you get yourself set up with an iPad and Procreate, there are phenomenal YouTube tutorials. So that's how I learned how to do everything, was in YouTube.
And I don't know how the heck you find time for all of this stuff. And I think you're just amazing, Rachel. And here we've got a number of these books. You've created your own activity books using Canva as well, right? Creating different things and playing around. You've also had things translated. And tell us a little bit about foreign rights, because Santa's Lost Reindeer was picked up by foreign rights. You've sold the foreign rights on those as well, right?
Yeah. So Santa's Lost Reindeer, I've sold the foreign rights for Spain and Greece so far, which is odd for a rhyming book. I think the only reason why that happened was because it was selling so well. So they were willing to overlook the fact that it's rhyming, I think is what happened. But yes, generally don't expect, now April, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think generally don't expect to get picked up by a foreign rights publisher if you're rhyming.
Yeah, I think
It
it's
just makes-
exception for sure that they do that. But yes, so I had somebody else contact me today and say, you know, with the same foreign representative that you're working with, and they said, I think this is spam. And I was like, no, this is, you know, Montse. And you know, she represents authors, she helps you with getting the foreign rights. But how did that come about? Did they contact you? And just like, I mean, I think they monitor sales and they look and see what's coming independently published that they might want to then release in their own country.
So how it happened with me was I actually thought it was spam as well. I got an email from a Greek publishing company who said, have you sold the rights to first translation into Greek rather? And I said, I actually contacted April and said, like I sent her an email, I forwarded it to her and said, is this legit? So April messaged me back and said, get a hold of Montse and tell her that you've received this email. So that's what I did. I got a hold of Montse, I sent Montse the email, and then Montse took it from there.
Yeah.
And then after I got it actually happened the same way for the Spanish publisher. So after the Greek publisher emailed me, the Spanish publisher emailed me maybe a month or two later, and I just forwarded the email to Montse.
So you are doing well in the US, and then are these contracts for the foreign rights lucrative? Or, you know, is it hundreds of dollars? Is it thousands of dollars? What can people expect when these kinds of things happen?
I don't really know yet. So you get an initial payout, which is about $1,000 to $2,000. I think it was, oh geez, I can't remember. I think it was about $1,200 for Spain, and I think Greece was only around 900, but we are talking US funds, so you know, in Canadian it's a bit more. And then you get a percentage
Of the sale.
after, yeah, so you get like a original payout, and then you get a percentage of sales. This will be the first year that my books are on sale in a different country. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll have to have you come back and share about that as things progress there.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any final questions for Rachel before we let her go? This has been a really excellent conversation. Thank you for sharing. And for those of you who have not checked out Rachel's books, these are some of the best gift books. If you just want to giggle, if you're not looking for lessons or necessarily anything that's gonna teach your child something other than create that bond, the closeness, it's all about fun, and you'll laugh and you'll find just amazing illustrations. And I mean, I just love that as a brand. Like, it's not all about lessons or teaching things, especially those that beat you over the head with the lessons. It's Rachel's books, I find, are the ones that my grandkids keep bringing back to me to read over and over again, and they love them. So that's the kind of brand that you have created, Rachel. And I know I love it. I love reading and bonding with the kids over those stories. And so I highly recommend, for those of you who are looking for Christmas gifts, these, you couldn't order a better gift for a child. And especially if you want to really use that for reluctant readers or just bonding, and a great gift for teachers as well, for the classroom. You know, great opportunities to also help feed into this amazing journey that Rachel has had so far. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
All right. So I do have a question on YouTube, and feel free to drop when you want, but you're also welcome to hang with us, Rachel, as well. So Christy's asking, what's the cost difference between Formax and the other? And when she says the other, she's talking about Jay Maletsky's company, the IAPC Books. So IAPCbooks.com. Obviously, with any printer, the more that you order, the cheaper that it gets. Typically, my authors are ordering a couple hundred books when they go to Formax, and it's very hard to get offset printer pricing that's really low when you're ordering 50, 100, or 200 books. But you can spend less than or similar to the price of ordering your own author copies off of Ingram Spark. And you're going to get a much better quality. So I've seen people with, prices of $5, $7 a piece for the books. And that's great. And like I said, the more you order, the lower the price gets. With IAPC Books, people are typically ordering 1,000, 2,000. When you get to like 2,500, 3,000 books, you're driving the cost below $2 a book for these amazing, beautiful, high quality books. If you're looking for the ability to add some pretty gloss to the cover or foil stamping and things like that, you can do that on both of those options. But when you go to the IAPC and everything, it's just, like I said, it's going to drive those prices way down. So I do recommend you go and check out Jay Maletsky and the IAPC, and let them know April sent you. If you are looking to work with a coach also, when you order books from Jay, and I know this sounds like a sales pitch, it's a plug, but I just want to let you know that they will also credit some of the coaching that you do with their approved coaches. And I just happen to be one of their approved coaches. So you can get a credit towards working with me, and get some free coaching from on my side because you're working with IAPC, or a discount on the orders. So on the printing order. So anyway, it's a great option, and I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't really believe in what they do and the quality of what they do. So I think that's phenomenal and highly recommended. So I do also want to spend just a few moments. I know I'm going a little bit over, but I did start a little late today. I'm going to go into my screen and just share some of the upcoming events with you. If you have not gone to selfpubmadesimple.com, please bookmark it, go on into the website, and go over to the upcoming events. The reason why I wanted to focus on this. So first of all, I really love doing these Q&A sessions with people that are brand new, or just want to, hear from some of our authors, or just have questions on self-publishing. Not sure if self-publishing is right for you. So I've added on Wednesdays, I'm doing, as we're doing now, 8 p.m. Eastern, but also I've added a 1 p.m. Eastern time slot, so that I'm just doing the same thing. Just go live, answer some questions. We're not going to get into Amazon ads or things like that as far as like advanced topics, but I'm here to answer questions if you get stuck and you want some help. And it's also a great community. So come in and chat, and we can, spend a little time together with others who are of like minds. So the informational sessions are there. You can mark that on your calendar. You can join me live on Zoom right through this link when it's happening. But I also have added an intro to Amazon ads, and advanced analyzing and adjusting Amazon ads. Now, I do a lot of work on Amazon ads. I record a lot of videos on Amazon ads. And I try to simplify it the best that I can to help you and give you some step-by-step tutorials. However, I'm always having people ask me, will you manage my ads for me? Can you do some one-on-one coaching and help me learn to manage them myself? And I have been doing that with some of my clients as far as coaching them through it, but it's expensive to do a one-on-one with me, and I only get to serve a very few people in that way. So I decided, especially because of the time of year this is like a key time of year to amp up your ads, so that like Rachel said, it takes a month, maybe even 2 months to dial things in. And we're coming up on Christmas sales, guys, right? So I want you guys that are brand new to advertising, come to an intro session for Intro to Amazon Ads. It's a 2-hour workshop, and it's going to cost you $50 for 2 hours, right? If you're a mastermind member of mine, then you get a 30% discount off of that for any of these workshops. So you're going to get an amazing price. I get to serve more people, and we go through and you share, like, okay, it's limited to like 5 people at a time. So they're small group sessions, and we start with the intro. I put a number of different options out here, different time zones, you know, availability. And then also the advanced one is not, I shouldn't say advanced. It's more of, okay, you created the ads, but now what do I do? How do I manage them? How do I dial them in? These are now available, and we are going to take those ads you've created, and we're going to take a look at what keywords are working, what keywords are not working. How do you dial in and stop the bleeding on things that aren't converting well? What can you learn, and how can you add new things and enhance your ad performance? And so these are things that I do with Rachel, and I do with Bobby Hinman. I manage and help with management of these things, but for there's only one of me, right? So I want to help you get this information, and having that hand holding is what people have been screaming for. A couple of hours of dedicated time where we get to go around circle and share what you're doing. You get to ask questions, you get to, you know, hands-on do what I'm doing, is just amazing. So lots of a great opportunity. And then I also have our regular mastermind session. So the next mastermind session is breaking through imposter syndrome. So this is Valerie McTavish, who on October 18th, she'll be with me and talking about, oh, sorry, I think I jumped ahead of this one here. So the next mastermind is October 9th from 1 to 2 Eastern. Now, my mastermind members, pay $17.99 a month, and they get access to all of the stuff that I do and some extra special support. However, I do open up these events for people who are not mastermind members so that you can pay to join. I will tell you that paying for one session, you could just pay for a month. And the mastermind membership that I have, you get a month free. So just join it for free, get a free session. And then if you appreciate and you're enjoying what you're getting for that and the community that we've built, then stay, hang out with us, and you continue to build on that, and also get 30 to 50% off on any other services that we do together, whether it's coaching or whether it's my author group. There's lots of additional benefits for the mastermind as well. But in this case, Julie Broad is coming in. The mastermind meets twice a month. This upcoming session is all about marketing for more than just book sales. And Julie Broad is one of my favorite YouTubers. She is from Book Launchers, and she's going to be live with us, answering questions, presenting on this topic. And then the next one, and you can come in here and register. If you're a non-member, you can pay to be with us, or if you're a mastermind member, then it's completely free. With the next mastermind here is breaking through imposter syndrome, and Valerie McTavish is somebody that is just so helpful with regard to clarity and confidence and building confidence and stepping out outside your comfort zone, and how can you use a video and going live and engaging in that kind of format. What kind of tips do you have about being on camera or going live? So she is going to be sharing all of her secrets there with us and answering questions. It is an awesome session, so sign up, register for that. And then I have one final thing that I'll share with you. I'm creating and in doing interviews, and I've been so busy this week and last week and the week before, because I've got my very first annual Author to Authorpreneur Summit with some of the best and brightest minds in self-publishing, talking about everything that you need from a business perspective. I have been, attending summits like, hey, learn how to write a book, learn how to publish a children's book, learn how to market a children's book. And those are all amazing. I've learned so many things. But what I felt was really a big gap for authors is, okay, what about business formation? Do I need, what is the business side that we really need to be focused on to grow a profitable author business? Things that we talked about today, like ads and how important is ads, how important are series, how important is branding, what about accounting and setting up a business, and what kind of tax implications are there that you should be aware of? All of those things, my lack of knowledge in many of those areas made my author to authorpreneur journey a little bumpy, and I made a lot of mistakes. I'm still learning every day, but I thought if we just had something where we could learn the business side and really focus on the business side. So far, I've got about 30 speakers, the brilliant speakers, and you guys are going to love it. Stay tuned because we should be allowing you to register. And guess what the price is on this thing? Nothing. It's free. I'm doing this to serve the author community, of course, to build my own mailing list and connect with authors who are looking to grow their business. That's good business sense for me. And there will be premium option that if you want to get a premium pass and get lifetime access to these things and thousands of dollars worth of bonuses, it's going to be very inexpensive. $49 for an early bird sign up for a premium pass and have lifetime access to all of that information, plus a ton of bonuses. So there's a whole bunch, and I'm sorry, I don't like to be slimy and salesy, and I hope that it's not coming across that way, but I love this topic. I love serving authors. I want you guys to be aware that this amazing event is coming, and you are going to be able to start just registering and signing up, and share it with your friends, share it with others, because we all need to know how to grow our business in a way that is not going to get in the way of our author business. If we don't financially manage things well, if we're not branding ourselves well, if we're not advertising or marketing well, you're not going to grow as an author. You're not going to sell, and you're going to give up, or your business is going to get shut down for a lack of knowledge around the financials and the taxes and all the things you should be doing with filing so many of the different requirements for running a business. So I hope that you will participate in that. I'm really, really excited about offering it for everyone. And I'll just take a few more minutes if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer those questions, and then just say stay tuned. If you're not already on my mailing list, go to selfpubmadesimple.com, subscribe to the mailing list so that you can be aware of this event and get in on the ground floor as soon as we make it available. Okay, questions, comments?
I have a comment, April. I'd just like to say that I think everything that you do is phenomenal, and it doesn't come across as salesy to me in any way, shape, or form. You are so free with sharing your knowledge and information that I am humbled by what you do. Thank you. And just wanted to say thank you, because I've learned so much and I continue to learn, and it's because you are continually opening or presenting doors that we can go through and learn a lot. So I just want to say thank you. That's all.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Denise. She's absolutely right about that, because we do need to look at the business size. It is a business, and so we maybe let that lacking a little bit, or just let it go by the wayside. And the government doesn't like that too much, and so it is something else that we need to think about. And if she's saying $1,000 for each one of her books, if she's got 12 books, that's an awful lot of money. So you have to think how you can channel that in, and and give Caesar who's Caesar's. Government needs to be paid too. So so thank you on that. So on that note, I guess maybe because my launch was not the best, and I know that we've gone over time, so I don't know if all my stuff's probably not all hooked together. And I don't know if April, if I need to spend some time with you, and I've spent an awful lot of time with KDP. We become friends. So I think we've worked through some of that problem. But if there was some time with you, if you could help me. Unfortunately, I'm not through it completely.
Yeah.
So
So I will say that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end the live, and I'm gonna have you guys that are part of my mastermind just hang out, and we'll figure this out. We'll get some of the help that you need to get you unstuck. But we'll disconnect from the live so that others can move on. And I just want to say, have a wonderful day, everybody. Come and join me again next week. We'll do this again. And like I said, stay tuned for lots more information coming and opportunities to learn and grow as an author. Have a wonderful day. I'm just going to go ahead and end this. Let me see the live part. If I can here, hold on.